What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle is officially over with. And in my estimation, Kendrick Lamar won this clearly. Clearly won this, right? Some people may feel differently, but I feel he absolutely won this. And he attacked Drake at all the points that I would have attacked him if I was a rapper going against him, right? Um, this is it's so funny. I see a lot of people saying, why are people switching up on Drake? Why does it seem well, how did he win? How did Kendrick Lamar really win this battle? He won this battle by attacking Drake's integrity, his connection to the plight of Black American people, attacking his blackness, and attacking everything that he stands for, which is the way you're supposed to do it. I talked to my boy Melvin. Melvin was like, man, I thought he was going to come with these amazing triple entendres and quadruple entendres, and it was going to be a whole lot of super lyrical, spherical stuff. And he was like, I didn't really get that. Now, he has some great lines, some great wordplays. He had double entendres in this rap battle. He did, right? But I guess he was I believe my boy Melvin was coming to the track expecting to hear a whole bunch of just super extreme metaphors and similes all riddled through every single line. That was not what Kendrick Lamar set out to do. He set out to embarrass Drake. He didn't set out to just bar him up all the way with everything. Some things he said to attack that man's integrity, his blackness, when he questions him standing next to Sexy Red. Why are you doing that, right? When he talked about, when Drake made the line about, oh, you be rapping like you trying to get the slaves free. He went and flipped that line on him as he should have done. Genius move. Okay. He acting like he's against that. Like he wouldn't want us free the slaves. Like he wouldn't want to free our people. He out here acting like, he calling us slaves essentially. You know what I mean? So let me talk about what type of colonizer he is. Talks about his choice in women. The women that he go after are not real women. Some people would say, was he talking about being a pedo in that situation? I believe he was talking about Drake having a affection for strippers and women who are not really esteemed, right? He talked about Drake not feeling black enough, so he go and chases these features to try to give him this credibility within our community that he wouldn't really have otherwise, because he did not grow up with not Black American. He didn't grow up with Black people at all. He grew up with Jewish people. He went to a predominantly Jewish school. This is not I'm not just saying this. These are things that Drake admitted to Rosenberg on Hot 97. Talked about growing up in Forest Hill, which is a predominantly Jewish area. Went to a predominantly Jewish school. He wore a yarmulke. He had a bar mitzvah. And he was marketed as a Jewish biracial kid, right, when he first came out. And that made the record labels go crazy because you have a Jewish kid who can say the N-word? Oh my God. How marketable is that? A Jewish kid that can say the N-word? A lot of these record companies ran by a lot of Jewish people. So they was like, yo, this is our guy. He is going to be the poster child for us, and he is going to push us forward. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. But he was marketed as a young Jewish biracial kid when he came out, right? Also, he was marketed as a backpacker type of guy with melodies. He wasn't a super big pop star. He wasn't marketed as a pop star, as a backpacker with melodies. Growing up, Drake's favorite rapper was Fonte from Little Brother. A lot of y'all don't really know who Fonte is. Fonte, one of the dopest lyricists I've ever heard, for sure. Fonte is phenomenal, right? But if Little Brother and Fonte and Ninth Wonder Pooh and them, if them your guys, if that's the guys that you really admire, why, when you got to the pinnacle of the rap game, why haven't you collaborated with them at your height? He collaborated with them on Think Good Thoughts on the Comeback Season mixtape. When was that? '08? That was before So Far Gone. He hasn't worked with them since then. Why haven't you worked with them, the backpacker guys that you grew up idolizing now that you got to the top? Because it's not beneficial for your career. Kendrick Lamar was saying, hey, you only work with people that's beneficial for your street credibility, when you want to seem edgy, when you want to seem down with black folks, when you want to pander to black people. You stand next to Sexy Red because you know it's going to appeal to the ratchet community. You know what I mean? It give you a look, right? When you stand next to 21 Savage, when you with Lil Baby now, you can get lingo from them. You can appear to be like, oh, you have a street aura to you because you around these certain people. When you go work with Block Boy JB, Block Boy JB already had this shoot. He had that thing going for him, right? And he's a street dude from Memphis. You go back to Memphis, Tennessee, your father from Memphis. People want to embrace you because like, oh my God, he coming back to where his father's from. And then you surround yourself with Block Boy JB's people in the video and give you a street aura, like an authenticity to where, oh, well, we can embrace him. We can embrace him now because he with the street dudes. Kind of like when Eminem came out and black folks embraced him or accepted him because he came out with Dre, who was a part of NWA, the first gangster rap group ever, the biggest gangster rap group ever. And people was like, okay, well, we can make ourselves like him because he's coming out with Dre. If he came out with goddamn on Scott Storch, or if he came out with just Rick Rubin by himself, Eminem wouldn't have gained that much credibility within the black community, despite whatever you feel like about his raps. When Dre was co-signing him, it mattered, right? So Drake getting these, again, Drake was helping the careers of Sexy Red and 21 Savage and Block Boy JB and Amigos. But one, a lot of them artists were hot. They were bubbling already, but he helped to bring them a lot of ears and more attention. But it wasn't just one way. It wasn't one-sided. It was beneficial for him to work with these individuals as well. Very individual. It gave him a certain type of credibility that he did not have. And he knew it would do that. That's why he chose to stand by them. That's why he chose to work with them. Why aren't you working with the backpackers that you were upholding when you first came out, that you said were your favorites? Because it's not going to help. It's not going to give you any type of credibility in the streets. It's not going to make you seem edgy. It's not going to make you seem cool. It's not going to make black folks just run and just be all invested in you the way it would if you stand next to Sexy Red or 21 Savage, right? And so then we get to the points of, well, why Drake because Kendrick also speaks about, and this is really what it came down to too. A lot of black folks saw, and see, a lot of these tactics probably wouldn't have worked if he was going against a Meek Mill, a street dude, because a lot of the street dudes, they don't know how to articulate themselves, or articulate these points the way Kendrick Lamar does, right? And also, they don't have the credibility or certain work within the community to, or they don't have the, they don't have the credibility to kind of attack those angles, because a lot of them don't put messages about black folks, or they don't speak to black people in their music. They don't speak to black upliftment the way that Kendrick Lamar's music does, right? So you went up against Kendrick Lamar, who, he speaks to black folks. He speaks to uplift. We gonna be all right? Come on, man. That was something that a Pac would have made, which is why Pac ultimately, his legend is bigger than Big's, because Pac spoke to black folks. He was talking about stuff. He was talking about the plight of black American people and putting it on the forefront for America to see. Big wasn't doing that. He was making songs about having sex with women, being flashy, being fly, having a lot of money, and being one of the dopest MCs, but he wasn't talking about uplifting black people. He wasn't talking about the oppression of our people. He wasn't speaking to the freedom of our people. He wasn't speaking to women in a positive manner, although Pac had songs where he was talking crazy, right? But he was versatile. He would make songs about uplifting women, keep your head up or whatever. Big never did that. So you have a certain community who probably don't even really listen to rap, who are pro-black, that attach themselves to Pac, and they love the rhetoric that he spoke. Same, I feel, with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick don't make the same club bangers that Drake makes, but he speaks to black folks and uproots and speaks to the soul of black people. And you can't omit that in this battle. You could not get around that he spoke to our people in a way that we needed in times of police brutality and black folks getting gunned down. Drake never done that. He never speaks to our folks. He never talks about the plight of our people. He never talks about what's happening in our communities. He never uses his platform to speak out against racism, against black folks. He never even put out a PSA or a memo on his website on his social media pages. He never addresses anything going on. When George Floyd got killed, he never talked about it. All these other black folks getting killed by law enforcement, he chose not to speak about it at all. He stayed away from it. And black folks remember that, you know? And when you don't grow up with black folks, we make you stand in solidarity with us. You gotta stand in solidarity with us to show where your allegiance lies, okay? Especially if you didn't grow up with us, and then you already biracial and you didn't grow up with us. We give you the pass. We was embracive of Drake because, okay, you got a black daddy, it's cool. But the moment you don't speak like other artists do, you don't speak about our issues and talk about what we facing in your music, or not even just in your music. You don't speak about it at all in no interviews. You don't put up no memos on your page. You don't discuss it at all. Black folks don't like that. We make you stand in solidarity with us, right? Also, when you don't speak out about our people, the plight of our people, black people look at you like you're the establishment. Drake represents the establishment. Black folks have culturally been anti-establishment all over for generations. We've been known to buck systems. That's how our people are bred. We are anti-establishment. We don't like company men, none of that. Kendrick Lamar speaks, even in these disses, he said, I don't care about these labels and none of that. He talk about his people. J. Cole do the same thing, even though he has a white mother. He's biracial. He went on David Letterman and did Be Free when he could have did an album cut. He spoke about the plight of black folks getting killed, violence in our communities, police brutality, all of that on David Letterman. He could have did a hit song. He chose not to do an album song and made a song specifically for that performance. That's something that Drake would never do. He would never make a song for black folks with a big audience watching for our people to feel, right? And so black folks took note of that. And it worked because we see what Kendrick Lamar, he makes songs for black folks. Speak to the soul, in a way that Pac would. And in this situation, even though Drake is a dope rapper, hey, you only standing next to black folks when it's beneficial for you. You only leaning into your blackness when it's beneficial, when you want street credibility, when you want to seem edgy, when you want to seem cool. Kendrick Lamar gonna always lean into his blackness, for sure.